morning. صباح الخير and hyvä huomenta. هاي صباح الخير بالفنلندي. Distinguished guests, give me great pleasure to welcome you here. Before doing any welcoming address, let's stand all together for the national anthem of Palestine. Good morning again, distinguished guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this international seminar on IT in language learning and teaching, bringing your education to life as part of the project on learning innovative teaching in higher education. Welcoming you on behalf of Bethlehem University is Dr. Michael Sansour, our Executive Vice President. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Muna. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here to Bethlehem University and for the opening of this very important seminar. First, I would like to welcome Dr. Pirjo Hakala, who is the President for Academic Affairs at the Diakonia University of Applied Sciences in Finland. And we have with us also Ms. Karita Laisi. Did I pronounce your... Good, okay. She is the head of the Development Cooperation, the Representative Office of Finland. So welcome to both of you, and I'm not sure you are with them, of course, and so you're also most welcome, and everybody else. We are very proud of our liaison with Finland, with the Finnish University Diakonia, and with the Finnish Cooperation Office of the Representative Office here. And the reason why we think that Finland is a country with innovation. It is a country that constantly renovates itself. Not too long ago, Finland had, as far as I know, being a psychologist myself, had the highest rates in the world of depression and suicide. Okay. It was an Now, thanks to its innovative policies, it is one of the happiest countries in the world. And so I think they provide the world with a very good example of how important it is to innovate. And this university is always looking for ways to improve what it does and to innovate. The title of today, Bringing Your Education to Life, which is part, of course, of the ongoing project which has been going on with Bethlehem University since 2013, which is called Leading Innovative Teaching in Higher Education. That's an ongoing project. But today's seminar, Bringing Your Education to Life, seems to imply that our education is dead or dying. But I can assure you this is not the case. But it is high time that we start to use the latest in technological development, the latest methods that assist a professor in his teaching endeavors or in her teaching endeavors, how to use this technology in the service of our teaching profession in the universities. And I think this is a very innovative approach in itself. And so that would certainly bring, not revive, but I think bring a welcome burst of fresh air to our teaching. Many of us have been teaching in the same methodology, using the same ways, and even sometimes the same notes over and over again, year in, year out, for many years. And this shouldn't be the case, because in this way, we don't just kill our education itself and what we are doing, but we also destruct ourselves as professionals and as academicians. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with us. And thank you for being yesterday with the inauguration of the new library. This is another example of how we at Bethlehem University constantly strive to improve things and to provide our students with state-of-the-art services. And I just heard that this is something that is similar to what we have in Finland, and this makes us even more proud that we have something that is similar to what you do in Finland. And we are very proud of our liaisons with you. So thank you again, and I wish you a successful seminar.
Thank you, Dr. Sansour. Distinguished guests, we are gathered here today to celebrate the success and closing of this project, Leading Innovative Teaching in Higher Education. This international seminar on IT in language learning and teaching, bringing your education to life, is organized to bring to you the outcomes of the project, as well as to share with you best practices that can help bring new ideas to using technology in education. This project actually was a joint project between Bethlehem University, the Center of Excellence in Teaching and Learning, and Diakonia University of Applied Sciences in Finland. It started in 2013. The project included different activities like exchange of visits between both universities, training workshops for faculty members, production of some 12 educational videos, and this seminar. Actually, this was not the first cooperation between Bethlehem University and Finland and with Diakonia University. Our cooperation with them started back in 2004 when they helped us with some generous donations from the Finnish government to establish our digital media center. They helped us in providing training workshops to many of our faculty members. Many of our faculty members had the chance to go to Finland for some training. Some students from the university there used to come here to give workshops. They helped in remodeling some of our furnishing some of the equipments in the digital media center and in the video conferencing room. So thank you very much for your cooperation and generous donations to Bethlehem University. One of the basic ideas of teaching and learning today is the idea of blended learning. Blended learning is built on mixing of technology and traditional face-to-face instruction. It combines classroom learning with online learning in which students can, in part, control the time, pace, and place of their learning. To talk more about the idea of blended learning and learning technologies at DIAC, let us welcome Dr. Pergio Hakala, Vice President for Academic Affairs at Diakonia University of Applied Sciences.
On behalf of the whole DIAC team, I want to express our warm thanks to Bethlehem University for making this seminar possible. It is a great pleasure to be here and to learn from your experiences in using iPads in teaching. For our university, this project has offered an important platform for testing new ideas and tools, especially in teaching English and nursing. It has given a great opportunity to share experiences and to create also something new together with our colleagues at Bethlehem University. In my presentation, I will first talk about why blended learning and learning technology are so important at our university. And then I will say a few words about how we are using them. DIAC is a nationwide network university which has campuses at different parts of the country. The longest distance between our campuses is more than 600 kilometers. DIAC was founded 20 years ago when 9 former colleges merged and formed a new University of Applied Sciences. During the first years of DIAC's history, our campuses were independent units that shared a joint curriculum, but not much else. Teaching was fully based on face-to-face contact on a daily basis. As the new university developed its practices, it soon became evident that more cooperation between the units was needed also on the implementation level. Because of the long distances, we needed tools which made this possible. Blended learning and learning technology were answers for this need. Another reason for changing the focus gradually from face-to-face contact teaching to blended learning came from the rapidly decreasing number of applicants, especially in our Eastern and Western units. Majority of Finnish students work along with their studies, and therefore they are not willing to move to small countryside towns. And that was the reason why Pieksämäki in the east was the first campus where we changed all our teaching to blended learning. And as a result, the number of applicants started to rise. At the moment, blended learning is the main pedagogical approach at all our campuses. Only in Helsinki and in Turku, we still provide programs where students come to the campus every week. Blended learning has made it possible to offer degree education also outside our campuses. At the moment, we are running programs in Ivalo in Lapland, in Tampere and in Lapua, in the middle part of Finland, and in Kajaani in the northeast. For our teachers, blended learning gives more flexibility to decide where and when to work. Much of the teaching takes place online, and teachers can work from the campus, from home, or even from the train, as in the picture. Blended learning and wide use of learning technology has made it possible to use expertise nationwide. This is important, especially in the subject areas where there is no need for full-time personnel at each campus. Online tools save us time and money, All our meetings are online, and also uh, shorter teaching sessions are online when the teacher is not from the same campus as the students. Blended learning and learning technology has also made it possible to widen our international cooperation. We are running a joint master program in global healthcare with a Kenyan university, a joint bachelor program in social services with a university from Czech Republic, and are planning a master degree in social work with 2 Tanzanian universities. And I hope that in the future we can have joint online courses also with Bethlehem University. Our students have welcomed this change. Majority of them work, and blended learning has given them the possibility to combine work, studies, and family life. It offers them more flexibility to study when and where it suits them best. Many of our students have previous studies or working experience that can be recognized as part of their studies. Therefore, there is an ever-increasing need for individual learning paths. Online courses and blended learning makes it easier to take courses also from other campuses. This helps us to create them more meaningful learning processes. More and more learning materials are found in e-form, which makes them more easily accessible for the students. In the current working life, digitalization is a major trend, and more services, especially and for example in the healthcare sector, are going online. It is important that students will be well equipped in using online tools and services during their studies. When using similar means in their own learning, makes it easier for them to tackle the changes that digitalization brings in their future professions. Then a few words of how we are using blended learning and learning technology. Now I pressed something. Thanks. As we heard already, blended learning means a combination of contact teaching and virtual learning. We usually have face-to-face contact teaching once a month from 2 to 5 days at a time. In addition to this, there is also online contact teaching, guidance and supervision. Our teachers are learning and testing all the time new means of increasing online interaction with and between the students. Learning assignments are the most important tool to carry the learning process. Majority of them is based on cooperation of the students, and various forms of group work are used. In all our degrees, part of the learning takes place also in real-life working environments. Practical placements are, of course, the essential part of this, but students also carry out small projects together with working life partners or can collect information, for example, by interviewing professionals. Individual and collaborative work alternate and complement each other. And as much as possible, we use and also to some extent create e-materials for learning. For several years, majority of our elective courses have been e-courses. There is also a financial reason behind this, And the reason that with this way we can offer a wider variety of courses at all our campuses. Learning technology comes into picture when we talk about the main tools that we use in blended learning. Our main learning platform is Frontier, but we are now about to change it to a new one. Adobe Connect is our main virtual classroom and also virtual meeting room, but teachers can use also some other tools. Echo 360 is a lecture capture system that is installed to some of the classrooms at all our campuses. With the personal Echo, teachers can also record lectures from their own computers. We are also using iPads, like you are using here, and to some extent also smartphones in teaching. Social media, various free applications and games are also in use. Lync we use mainly in our own meetings, but Office 365 is available for both staff and students. It has not been an easy task for our teachers to learn to use all these new tools and to change whole their pedagogical thinking actually. Therefore, plenty of support and training has been and still is needed. The Center of Learning Technology provides support both staff and students, and we have a joint help desk for IT and learning technology. We also have so-called web lecturers at all campuses who give peer support to their colleagues. We have offered various forms of training, like workshops and webinars, and there is also various kinds of support material online. Some our teachers are really skilled in using all kinds of applications, but some, to be honest, still struggle with using our basic tools. This is an ongoing and never-ending learning process for us all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Perjo. Ms. Carita Lacey, the head of Development Cooperation, the representative office of Finland, is going to talk to us about the role of Finnish government in supporting Palestinian education. Please.
Sabah el Khair. Your Excellencies, dear teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to be here at the Bethlehem University today in the final seminar of the project Leading Innovative Teaching in Higher Education. I know that the cooperation between the University of Bethlehem and the Diak University of Applied Sciences has lasted for a long time and has been successful and important for both partners. We feel especially proud as the Finnish representative office to be present here today, because Finland has been supporting the development of Palestinian education for 20 years. 20 years ago, soon after the Oslo, two Finnish with their Palestinian counterparts started planning for the first bilateral education program. The first education program then began in 1997. It was called Primary Education Development Program. That was followed then with a more ambitious one, Education Development Strategic Plan. The aim has been improving the quality of primary education and the efficiency of education administration, as well as the capacity of the Ministry of Education. Currently, we are supporting Education Development Strategic Plan number 3. This focuses on reforms in all stages of education system, from preschool to TVET. Finland continues to support education, now in a sector-wide approach together with 4 other countries, Germany, Norway, Ireland and Belgium. We 5 countries jointly provide support to the Ministry of Education and Higher Education development budget under a joint financing arrangement. Education sector has developed in these 20 years. Many things have happened. There have been improvements and positive results, even when the context is extremely difficult and harms development. Despite the daily challenges that are in front of teachers and students, Palestinians continue valuing education and pursuing equal access to quality education for all. This is extremely important. I have visited personally so many schools in Palestine, in Gaza, East Jerusalem, in the Area C, all over, and every visit has been impressive. What has had the most impact to me personally has been the commitment of the teachers, their belief in their work. The teachers continue come to the school to teach, whatever the situation is. Education gives life, supports life, teaches life. Dear friends, during these 20 years, alongside with the bilateral cooperation with the Palestinian Authority, there has been also an important civil society cooperation and institutional cooperation in the field of education, funded by the Finnish government, of which one of the best examples is this cooperation between the University of Bethlehem and DIAC. Other Finnish institutions have been partnering with Birzeit University, others with private schools. There has been also cooperation with DR and Daran Nadwa Cultural Center. This civil society and higher education interinstitutional cooperation has been mutually valuable. It has contributed enormously to the cross-cultural learning and understanding between Palestinians and Finnish people. For this I didn't write, but I must say it here, that for us Finns, I think this cooperation has been a window to Palestine. We, as Finns, have all learned extracurricularly from you. Back to the paper. Dear friends, education is a long-term investment. Education is often referred to as a service, but in fact, it should be understood as an investment. An investment in quality pays back, it returns the gains. Improving the quality of education, the nation is investing into the most profitable use of its resources, its own people. Improved learning and teaching skills that result in improved learning is an essential investment that will materialize eventually in the cultural, social and economic development. Being the partner in the education development, we Finns have had the privilege to follow closely and participate in the development of a key sector in nation and state building, as education system is the basic component of state's social and economic foundation. At the same time, we have gained knowledge and experiences from Palestine, learned from Palestinians, and this has developed our own country, our institutions, and our education. Dear friends, now on behalf of the Representative Office of Finland, I wish you a fruitful seminar and congratulate you of the joint journey again that you have made, contributing to the language teaching and learning in Palestine. Thank you. And I'm unfortunately not able to listen the rest of the speeches because I have to go back to Ramallah. Thank you.
We thank Ms. Karita for her presence and for her encouraging words. We're now with Mr. Philip Dahoud. Philip is our Assistant Vice President for Information Technology Services here at Bethlehem University. Philip was very heavily involved with the project, and he's going to talk to us now about instructional technology in teaching and learning. So please, Philip.
Good morning. I would like to welcome you also for, again, at Bethlehem University for our guests and friends. As Dr. Muna said, that we are going to be talking about instructional technology in teaching and learning. But just before I do that, I think you already know a little bit about the project, so I'm going to just quickly go through it. The project was called Leading Innovative Teaching in Higher Education. That was in partnership with the Ikonia University of Finland. And of course, our partnership with the Ikonia University goes back to maybe more than 10 years now. And we are very proud of that. Just quickly, we had two main objectives of this project, which is using innovative teaching methods at Bethlehem University, and also developing new curricula and teaching material using media and media production. I'm not going to talk more about the two objectives and the outcome of the project, because basically you will be able to see it in the next 2 or 3 presentations and even at the workshops after that. So just very quickly, I thought that I would give you like very brief description about the project. And before I move, I think we are talking about instructional technology. So it's good that if we can define what instructional technology is. So this is like one of the definitions. There are so many definitions that we can take, but it's systematic application of theory and other organized knowledge to the task of instructional design and development. So what does that mean, right? So let's just simplify things. Yeah, I will simplify it just to use technology to support learning. I think it's much easier for us, for our students, and for our faculty to understand. And just before I go into instructional technology and how it can help us, I would like to show you just one picture that I liked it, which is this one. So do you know what this picture is? So we have the cart, we have the horse behind it. So we all know the phrase that we should not put the cart in front of the horse. So why do I have it here? I have no idea. I'm not sure why. No, but you see, I mean, yeah. And we always go and think, yeah, actually it's all of us. Why it doesn't work? Why the cart is not moving? But again, when it comes to using technology in education, basically we need to be careful that we should not put education, apps, nice tools in front of pedagogy. I mean, we should always think that, remember that we are here as teachers. So pedagogy and education is the core of our work. Then technology can be used to support that. So even if you take a look at all the terminologies that we use, instruction technology, education technology, learning technology, or even edtech, we always notice that technology always comes last. You see that technology is at the end of that statement or that definition. So this is something that we need to keep in mind, that it's nice sometimes when we have a new iPad. It's a nice tool, we like it, but it should not be that, oh, I have the iPad now, I would like to use it in my education. It should be the other way around. I mean, the learning outcome should be at the core of our concern. Then we need to see how technology can support that, or how can help that. So again, how technology can help? Again, learning outcomes is at the core of our universe. So this is what our mission is. And of course, to reach our outcomes, usually we have content, we have activities, and we have assessments. And now, in the next few slides, I will see how technology can help in delivering content and conducting activities, and also having assessment for our students. So I'll go through one by one and give some few examples. Of course, the workshops that you will have afterward, you will see more practical examples. In the presentations after my presentation, you will see some practical examples. But I'll just mention like few examples just to give you a hint. So for content, how can technology actually help delivering our content to our students? I think first it creates access to our content. Imagine if you have one valuable old book that has very good information, and I only have one copy of it. So if we don't have it electronically, then students will have to wait in line to get that book or that information. Of course, within technology, we can always, once it's electronically, we can share it. It's flexible. If I have my content online, then as a teacher, I have more flexibility in conducting my activities and my assessment. So that's what, if we use technology in providing our content, helps. And even for students, they like to have different options when it comes to having content. For accessibility for students with special needs, I mean, it's very hard for students with special need or who can't see to read printed papers. But with the technology, now you have, they can hear it if you have it as an audio or a video, or even there are software which convert text files or PDF files into speech. And I'm sure that we have some students here, I'm sure that they like to have the choice to select their way of getting the information and contents. So instead of just read, some would like to read it from books, some would like to have it as a PDF, some would like to see it as a video or as an audio. So having choice, providing choice to our students, I think they keep them more interested and more involved in the process. So for example, like for content, what's the basic thing that all courses we have, and this is the first thing that we show to our students, I think the course outline. We usually have our course outline, it's printed, or either now we have it on e-class. So just to bring our course outline to life, think about if I create a course outline, instead of having it as points and bullets, to have it like in a chart. We're using applications like Puplet or text to mind map. And by linking all the topics together in my course, I think you give the students in advance the way of how they can think of these topics and what the outcome would be, instead of just having it as a listed. Or even I can use timeline, where I have timeline for my course outline, and I can have like milestones and exams, quizzes, or projects on. Again, it's just the way that you can think of using technology so that students would be more interested in the topic. For us as a teachers, I think one of the challenges for using technology is that we need to create our own content. This is too hard, this is too time consuming. I think it should not be that way. Right now with the technology and the open education, I think you can always find something on the internet that you can use for your education. There are so many resources that you can use. One of them is Merlot, which is a website where you can search for learning objects, applications, videos or audio. And you can search by topic, by subject, and you can use that freely. I mean, it's open source. It's just teachers like yourselves who created something and posted that online. So basically, I don't have to create that. I don't have to recreate or reinvent the wheel again. And this actually saves us a lot of time. And usually, it's built on best practices and actually been evaluated and modified so many times that most likely it's good quality. Khan Academy also, it's another option where you can find. Of course, there are a lot of much more resources that you can find online, but at least these are two possible options. Again, I mean, even a session that you have in class, it can become your content. I mean, you can record yourself, you can record the session online, publish it online. This way, you can help your students to understand the topic. They don't have to take notes while they are attending the session. Or even if you have the session recorded, I have 2 minutes, so I have to move fast. Okay, so for activities, of course, when we use technology, we can increase its participation. We always have this kind of students who are shy, they don't like to participate in class. But when you use technology like discussion forums, you can always provide them with this chance to participate. Also engagement. I mean, when you use technology, it enhances the students to be more engaged in the activity. I think it increases sense of community, in which that students, by interacting with each other, they find that their peers are even source of information. It's not just friends and buddies. They can be a source of information by discussing things and sharing their knowledge. And of course, it increases flexibility in terms of what kind of activities you can have. And if you use like flipped classrooms, you can do more activities in class instead of wasting all of the time in class to do presentations and all of that. I think the challenge I'm moving fast a little bit. The challenge in our teaching is that we need to keep students interested. So how can we do that? I think if you give them the chance to select what they learn and make it relevant to themselves, I think by this way we can keep them more interested and involved in the education. This is just one example how you can keep the students interested. I mean, you can ask the students to research a topic. They can publish it online using a social bookmark or social media, then ask them to vote for it, and actually the most voted, let's say, topic will be discussed. Of course, it has to be relevant to my course outline, but again, it's just give them the power to select what they learn. This way you can keep them involved. With assessment, again, I think it's just, it gives you more flexibility in terms of what kind of feedback you can give them. It can be like audio feedback, can be written feedback. It gives them, actually you can involve the students in the assessment process. You can ask them to create, to add questions to your pool of questions on your Moodle, let's say, or your LMS. And this way they have to learn the process, they have to learn the topic, they have to think of ways how to create question, and this way you make sure that they understand the topic itself. And again, if they created the questions themselves, then they have the sense of ownership, and again, it improves their way of learning. Khalas? Okay, now just very quickly, I think I have only one more slide. Again, it's just ways of assessing and how technology can help in assessing in assessment. Again, it can be like involve students in the assessment process in terms of like peer review, or maybe adding provide their own questions, and also you can if you have a pool of questions or a question bank, you can always have it online so that they can practice and make sure that they understand the language, the topic before they come and have the actual test. So the final slides here, how to move forward. I think we've been all talking about educational technology and using the technology in education, but I think I've just tried to summarize how we can move things forward as a university. I think first we need the commitment of the management of the university. I think using education, it has to be part of our strategic plan. It has to be, and also it has to be even for evaluating performance of our teachers, it has to be part of it, that whether they use technology or not. We need to enforce that. Otherwise, it will be just ad hoc activities. Someone is trying something and it's not being followed by everyone. Of course, we need to train our faculty and staff on how to use technology in education. And of course, like this project is one example of how we can do that by partnership with other universities. I think by developing like small group of faculty members who are interested in technology and start discussing, exploring new ways and practicing and trying new things, this way we can, again, it's just giving them the sense of ownership of this process, and also once we have a success story, we can share it with others and try to motivate other teachers to do that. And of course, once you start using technology, you need to have support and infrastructure for that. Otherwise, it's useless to do it. So thanks I'm sorry that I took more than the plan, but thank you.
Okay, I would like now to welcome Ms. Alia Harb from our Occupational Therapy Department. Alia is going to talk to us about the use of media in teaching and learning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again. We're happy to see our friends from Finland with us here today. So I will be sharing our experience through this project, and it's mostly focusing in this part on making educational movies. Of course, you can use any type of film in your teaching and learning, as long as it meets the learning outcomes of your students. As Philip mentioned earlier, the main aim or goal or the focus would be the learning outcomes and what are you trying to to introduce to your students and to reach out to your students with. But our experience was mostly through documentary film making. So a documentary is any non-fiction video or film that informs viewers about a real-life topic, person, event, or issue. And some documentaries would provide us with educational information about things that aren't well known to us or things that we would like to explore a bit more. There are so many values to use educational films as educational tools. So some of it would be very interesting for us in occupational therapy in particular, that bringing a film into the classroom actually brings part of the outside real world into the classroom with it. So it provides a multisensory experience for our students, adds more that you can just describe and talk about in the classroom, because it has the other aspects like of motion, the interactions, the communication that happens in the movie. So it's real life events in your classroom. Also, it can solve a lot of the practical problems that you would face as a teacher. So for us, particularly in occupational therapy, it was the issue of placements, clinical placements, and what opportunities our students can have in the clinical placements. Many times there are so many restrictions about where we can send our students or opportunities they can get there. So this is one of the main reasons why actually we were involved in this aspect. Also, it improves on the teaching and learning experience. There's more room for discussion, analysis. It becomes very much more interactive, the whole kind of communication between the student and the teacher. So basically, as the title of the seminar, it brings your education to life. So how did it happen? How did we get involved as occupational therapy department? Again, it's part of the joint project between Bethlehem University and Diak University, and we were approached by the Center of Teaching and Learning, Excellence in Teaching and Learning at Bethlehem University to take part in this project, which had two components: the use of technology in education and the production of educational movies. And we are a small but enthusiastic department, I would say, so we took part in both components. But as I said, I'm focusing on the educational movies. So the first part of this process was actually to choose a worthy topic. So there was a lot of brainstorming, what would be interesting, what would be useful, what would meet our students' needs, and us also as lecturers. A lot of ideas. We were meeting in our department and with bigger teams. We were meeting with the film producer, Mr. Walid Atalla, and the crew kind of to discuss the ideas. And so we were looking at things, different ideas. So things were kind of refused, so not good enough, not interesting enough, not original enough. The big no was not to be found on YouTube, because if it's there on YouTube, why to put all this, time, effort, and money into making the idea again? So we were focusing on adding an idea to our teaching and to our teaching resources that's just not just there, not just available on the net, and particularly that would focus on our local context, kind of that represents our local context here in Palestine. So we wanted an idea that would be interesting, engaging, and context specific. That was the focus. We were thinking about who are our audience, and that would be our students. So what is it that we want to achieve with our students? The learning outcomes, what courses this would be kind of linked to. Again, their clinical experience, so thinking about linking theory to practice, which is again one of the challenges for lecturers. And most importantly, as I said, reflecting on the local context, because there is very, very minimum, particularly in occupational therapy, I would say, as a profession, it's very much based on very much like international literature and resources and references. There is very minimum what we have here locally. That's why this again gives us an opportunity to add to our local resources. So to give the film a purpose, we were thinking, this idea came up, and we thought, why not to look into group interventions, therapeutic group interventions, and based on 3 different models that are used in occupational therapy. Again, group interventions in general are very rare to find as resources. Like even if you want to look it up online, it's very difficult to find resources related to this topic, and even more rare in our local context. Again, we were thinking about our students' learning experience, that this would provide them more preparation for their clinical placements. As we said, many times the students, not all placements, I would say, allow them to maybe observe things before they try them, and particularly we thought the group interventions was a big aspect of it. Many times they're just thrown into the experience that they have to perform group interventions while they didn't get the chance to observe or discuss or kind of see it or experience it in another way. So we thought also this would be very useful. So the first, that we agreed as a team on the idea, the next step was to research the idea, the topic. We looked again further, that it's not there online. We looked into the OT literature, what is the literature talking or saying about this idea. We talked to professional colleagues also in the field and how they would find this useful also to them. We talked to experts both in OT and in film production, which was also helpful. And again, looking at the literature and narrowing the idea into three main approaches or models through which we can actually produce this idea. And of course, the local context. Well, where will this be produced? Okay. And what aspects of the local context that we would like to show through this film. So the first phase was the pre-production. I would say that's the least interesting phase, but it's very important because all the planning. So it's actually writing up the idea, scripting, storyboarding, which is actually sketching out scenes and trying to indicate audio and visual aspects to it. And that was a bit at the beginning challenging because how do you expect what will happen? You know, it's like a documentary, natural things happening. But we had a lot of guidance through the process, and we were able to kind of think of what we would like to show through this movie, so that it helped us a lot. The other aspect was actually the location. Where would be kind of the best location where we would film these movies? So we had to talk to different centers, therapists, and we identified three main centers in Bethlehem area that were willing to take part in this. Lifegate Society, it's a rehab center for children in Beit Jala. The mental health hospital near Dheishe camp here in Bethlehem, and it's the only mental health hospital in Palestine. And for Homes of Mercy, it's a residential care organization for people with multiple disabilities and intellectual disabilities. So they were very happy to be part of this project. And of course, then there was the aspect of consent, because we will be filming, you know, patients, clients, therapists, so we had to get formal consent for this. And then meeting with the therapists or the students who would be actually implementing these groups, let's say, or part of the groups, and discussing the idea. What do they think about it? What they would like to present during this film? Let's say the environment, where they would like to film it, materials, tools, what sort of groups they will be doing. Okay, 2 minutes, all right. So the process, that's the interesting part, the actual shooting, and we were in the middle of the shooting, and here shooting is a positive word, not like the other shooting that happens around. It was very interesting and exciting for us to be with the crew on location and, you know, to go through the process, and especially that actually our notes were taken into consideration. You can come to the director and say, please, I want you to, you know, a close-up on that child now or something. So it was really interesting for us. Then the editing, of course, and the narration, adding the scientific material, what type of editing, because that's also very sensitive, because it either kind of improves on the movie or can the opposite, like reduce of the value of what trying to present to the students. And of course, then the final product, which was, we had three short movies, 10 to 12 minutes each. One is a group intervention based on sensory motor approach for children, and one group interventions based on psychosocial approach for people with mental health issues or disorders, and a recreational group intervention for people with intellectual disabilities. And our colleague Anand went even further and did a fourth movie, which is following a client story, a local person who actually got really well integrated into the community. And the last part was actually the evaluation to view it with the students and to get their feedback. How did they find this experience? And did it add to the value of their education? So basically, from feedback and from discussion with the students and the teachers, we found that actually it really added a lot to the classroom discussion. It really helped enlighten the discussion, especially the analysis, you know, the critical thinking and the analysis. And we used one of the techniques is video guiding interviewing, where you can actually identify themes that you would look at the movie, like through these themes, then watch a very small part, maybe 1 minute or few seconds, and then you discuss with the students about this part kind of through the different themes. This is one way. There are so many ways how you can use these movies. And of course, the most important part, and this is the reason why we went into this project, is actually to prepare for the clinical placement. And students found that was very useful for them as a preparation for the clinical placements to conduct the groups. I don't know, can I show a few minutes from the movie or? Yeah, we can, yeah.
يقوم كل طفل بزراعة الوردة بطريقته الخاصة، مما يعزز التجربة الحسية الحركية ويعزز ممارسة المهارات الحركية الدقيقة وعملية التنسيق بين العين واليد.
كوكو ضحك، شكلك ما بتساعدها.
برافو سامي، شاطر.
ماما عشان تكبر
ولا
والجذور تطلع منها.
صح 100%. يلا كمان. يلا كسر.
احنا حضرنا فيلم عن النباتات.
حبيت الفيلم؟
عملية تدخل المعالجين لتصويب عمل المجموعة تعطي فرصة لزيادة التواصل وتسهيله ما بين.
طلعت، امسكي. خدي فروحة. قد ما بدك اسقي.
إذا سألناها كتير بتموت.
شو عملنا؟
حبة.
زرعنا؟ شو لون وردتك؟
حبة.
أدهم شو لون وردتك؟
أصفر.
وشو؟ وسامي أبيض. احكي أبيض. شاطر. وقصاي؟ أبيض. سمعنا صوتك يا قصاي. طيب هلا شو احتاجنا عشان نزرع؟ يلا مين يرجع يسمي لي؟
أنا.
تراب. أدهم؟
ماي.
فرح؟ شو هاد؟ ورد. ممتاز.
قدم هذا النشاط للأطفال تجربة غنية بالحواس من خلال استخدام المواد ذات الملمس المختلف وكذلك استخدام الألوان والروائح ليساهم ذلك في عملية التطور الحسي الحركي للأطفال.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alia. This was really interesting, and the last part, the video, I'm sure we can find all the videos posted on our website, and I personally will go and look at them. Really sounds interesting, lots of effort, and true educational tools. Thank you very much. Another interesting project that really took place here at Bethlehem University, and I guess in Finland too, is the use of iPads in teaching English. From Bethlehem University, Ms. Shada Shaheen, Ms. Rafaela Morra were involved in it, and from Finland, Ms. Turi Salo was also involved. I would like to call on Ms. Shada Shaheen and Ms. Turi to present to us their work and the research they did.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My colleague Turi Salo from Diaconia University and I, Shada Shaheen, are very honored to be standing here to present to you our experiences experimenting with iPads in specific language courses at Bethlehem University and in Finland at Diaconia University. We've been involved in the project since the beginning, about a year and a half now. And as part of the project, we presented a paper in Italy last November, and we will present a paper in Spain, a joint paper that we worked to gather on next week with other colleagues who have been involved also with us. Miss Rafaela with me, Bethlehem team, and
from Finland, Tuija Alasalmi and Kirsi Korkealehto.
Okay. I bet after this introduction that you are expecting a long, informative speech. However, I'd like to ask you to sit back and relax and join the conversation, or enjoy the conversation, because it's going to be a little bit different since Tuira and I have decided to change the script yesterday, last minute, and to be the 21st century teachers with, you know, as we say, innovative methods of teaching. So a conversation, interaction, some fun would be better than a speech, right?
Right. Okay. So good afternoon, everybody. Shall we start? Okay. Shada, would you like to tell us first what actually is needed in order to succeed in implementing iPads into teaching? Well, first of all, who's got more muscles?
Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, I think that's a very important question. So first of all, we need the iPad, the tool itself, and in our case, it was provided for us by our universities. Second, the yes and no and maybe, that is our willingness as teachers to adapt and adopt new methods of teaching and to be more innovative, because that requires time, effort, and we need Philip. Okay, the help here, the technical and the Tuya, definitely, the technical assistance, because you all know at Bethlehem University, and they also said that it happens in Finland, the bad internet connection. So we have to have the to-go-to people whenever we need questions, technical assistance, you know, help with applications, right, Philip? Okay, and most importantly for me.
For me too.
Okay.
I know what she's going to say.
And yeah, Rafaela, my partner in crime, we need colleagues to collaborate with, colleagues to share, with whom we can share experiences, stories, successful stories, the not so successful stories. It's either we share or cry, or and the ear and the shoulder, because technology cannot be trusted 100%. It has its drawbacks. So we, Rafaela and I, had always let's call it Plan B, whenever internet connection failed us. So to have a Plan B, you need time, you need effort, you need the commitment to. So that's why we needed each other to for help, support.
Yeah, colleagues are needed to divide the workload. So it needs a lot of energy and also time when you start doing something new. So with a colleague, it's always easier. Thank you. And what I would like to add here is that besides the technological help with the educational technology, we need help with pedagogy, as Philip said. So that is even more important. So in order to change the assignments, to think of what kind of learning environments I'm going to create for the students, what kind of assignments support them. So pedagogy is always there, the key thing to think about.
Okay.
Okay, so would you like to share something what your students did here?
Okay, let me just give brief background on the students, nature of assignments, and so on. In the English department at Bethlehem University, 85 students were involved in this project. The students were enrolled in 3 different classes: oral communication skills, English for advocacy, and drama. Basically because the students received second generation iPads that were that already had pre-installed applications. So what we asked them to do is to produce digital stories, to produce presentational materials, access their courses on Moodle. What else? Maybe watch TED Talks and other assignments that they had to collaborate on. And I have here a screenshot of mind map that was created using an application called Poplet. Philip already mentioned that. And this application has helped many students to organize their ideas. And I have another sample, a digital story that was created by one of the students right there. Our students for English for Advocacy, and the project titled The Israeli Apartheid Wall, A Siege of Dreams Since 2000. And it basically talks about how Israeli apartheid wall hinders or is a barrier for our students' dreams, aspiration, and perception of reality. So we'd like to show you that.
In 2002, I believe the construction of the separation wall started.
Yes, every day. Going back and forth to the university.
Not often.
Yeah, always. In my way to university from Jerusalem to Bethlehem, I have to pass by it.
Because I have a green ID, I go through checkpoints and I see the apartheid wall. And
I only have to pass by checkpoint when going to Jerusalem, and that's only twice every year when I can, is when it's Christmas time or Easter time.
I usually go to the university by car, so when I get out from the checkpoint, I have to stop the car and open everything in the car and for inspection. Oh, it's a torture.
Take my ID, they check on everything, my bag, my clothes, and everything has to do with weapons. It hurts me to go through that pressure.
Every time we have to go down from the bus, and the soldiers see what we have, where it is, and we have to show our identity card, and they don't let us pass if we don't have our IDs.
Going from Bethlehem into Jerusalem, I have to take off my shoes, empty my pockets. They will search my bag also, and I have to show the permit that I have.
Of course it does. Just the idea of seeing it makes me feel discriminated. They put limits to my freedom, to my movement, to my life. I'm not even allowed to see what's behind those walls. They separate me from another world as if I'm a disease, and it really hurts. It also hurts me not to be able to move freely, as if it's my country and I belong here.
I usually arrive later to my lectures because of the checkpoint. Yeah, it's bad.
Depression. It makes me feel that the world is full of evil and hatred, and it's not a beautiful place as in movies and so.
it irritates me to see the separation wall daily and to deal with soldiers like that.
Sadness, first of all, and most of all, I feel like this is my land and I'm being separated from the other half of my land, and I can't see my friends who live in Jerusalem.
It would be nice to have some humanity.
Injustice will not last.
Although you are building separation walls and trying to divide our countries, but our souls and minds will be there in the West Bank and in our land.
It wouldn't hurt to be human, and imagine yourself in my place.
Peace is possible only if violence stopped, and building a separation wall is not a solution at all to any of our problems.
Okay, maybe. This digital story was created using an application called iMovie. Tuire, maybe you can talk about what your students did.
Yeah. I find it a bit hard after this.
Emotional.
Yes, but here's an example of what my students did. Students in nursing, which is was a blended learning course, so that we had face-to-face lessons, and then the student worked together in pairs or in small groups during the distance periods. They collaborated a lot in these pairs and groups, which enhanced their both written and oral communication skills. This is a screenshot of Padlet, a virtual wall, where the students uploaded all the materials that they made. So they made PowerPoints and added voice to that. They made videos and wrote texts and made vocabularies with Quizlet, and all these were shared with the other students. We put the Padlets on the learning platform then. So during the face-to-face lessons, we shared the work they had done. We kind of deepened what they have learned, and I tried to give them tools how they can improve their communication skills and then in the future as well when they are in working life. So just mostly giving them the tools. Okay, so Shada, which applications and tools would you like to recommend to your colleagues?
Okay. Can you just point to the applications?
There.
Which one? Where? Okay. For presentations, to produce presentational materials, students use keynotes and edu-creation. Keynote and edu-creation. For creating digital stories, as I said, they used either Adobe Voice or iMovie. To communicate, they used social media applications and FaceTime. We also, as teachers, use Quizlet to design different quizzes. We used also iAnnotate to provide students with instantaneous feedback, written and audio. Maybe you can talk about that more. What else? We used also Google tools to share files and documents. And actually, we worked on the Tuire, Rafaela, and Tuya and Kirsi. We worked together. They were in Finland, and we were here. And we worked on a paper using Google Doc. And basically, that's it.
Yes, something else. Students have not only as their learning assignments, written something, but they have also recorded their voice using Voice Record Pro. This one, that one. And there, if we take the Adobe Connect Pro, so that is a teleconferencing tool. So when we were working, we also used that tool. During blended learning courses, we have interactive lessons using that tool. So that is very helpful. As a teacher, I used Explain Everything and Screencast-O-Matic for producing my own teaching material. So for example, I made some videos which online dictionaries I would like the students to use. So they have these videos there on the learning platform then, so that if they need to come back to the information, so that was always available. And iAnnotate we use for giving feedback on written texts. Makes it very visual, but you can also add voice there. So for some students it is better, and it also helps and it makes the work quicker if you give audio feedback. So you say what the feedback that you want to say. And Kahoot, for example, we use for quizzes. So that is a game application. So about gamification, you can hear more on a workshop tomorrow. And actually about the digital stories, the Adobe Voice that was also mentioned here already before. So there is a workshop on digital storytelling today, so you will hear more about that. Okay, so we also left a blank space here. So if there are good apps and solutions that you could recommend, so we would be glad to hear. If something important is missing, that you have used.
Mm-hmm. Touchcast, yeah.
Yeah. There more? Mm-hmm.
Students. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we have some concepts here that are very important to us.
Actually, we have a pop quiz for you. Okay, we'd like you to choose the most appealing concept as educator and discuss it with the one sitting next to you. Yeah. And then we'd like to hear, okay, or we'd like you to share the concept and
explain
talk about
why
it. Yeah.
you chose that. Okay. Please, 1 minute.
That's it's okay. We can have more.
We will exceed the time given to us. They all did. Yes, they all did. Yes.
I don't want to nothing.
Is 1 minute already gone?
No. It feels like 1 minute.
Right.
Look at them, they're discussing.
Yeah.
If we have a lot of contribution, we don't have to say.
Yes, we don't have a lot to say. Yeah, let's see. 3 maybe. No. 2 or 3. 2 is enough.
2 is enough. I think. Don't you think that we have to say when we prioritize them as digital natives, it's also empowerment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who thinks empowerment is important?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Shall we? Let's continue. Okay.
بس خلاص that's it. احنا بدنا اياها تكون interactive. طيب ما نكون اخذ
Okay.
extra.
So, shall we continue?
Yeah.
Shada, would you like to ask them more?
Okay. Let's hear from the audience. Yes.
So we chose empowerment.
Empowerment.
Okay, why?
That's what I chose.
We felt that
Oh,
with empowerment, a lot of the other things will follow. It means it's not like the other ones are not important, but with empowerment, then that with empowerment, that the rest of the other skills will follow. But I will give other. I know we're short on time.
Yeah. Maybe another.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to emphasize on teachers as facilitators of learning, because we should be like that, not as a lecturer just giving from one side. We should be only guiding our students, supporting them with the tools needed for their education.
Okay. Thanks. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall I
Yeah.
talk about empowerment?
Yeah. Do that.
Actually, if I were to choose, I'd agree with Dr. Irene. Empowerment is very important. As you saw in the movie that was the digital story that was created by our students, it has actually given them a free space to make their voice heard, to share their stories, to create personalized accounts against the mainstream narrative that tries to obliterate the Palestinian narrative. And, yeah?
I think, if you don't mind, I think we need a bit of each.
Oh, and, okay.
No,
We don't.
You can't really separate, but do you mind if I just say?
You say.
If I just say something?
Yeah.
Look, every teacher or every lecturer should be really a facilitator and empowering the students, empowering themselves. But you probably follow your own style, and it just depends what material you're teaching. So, for example, in physiotherapy or in medicine, we need to be using a lot of critical thinking to ask, is that the right way we're doing it?
That's what
yeah.
we wanted you to share.
Yeah, so I would say a bit of each, but you probably have your own style. Yeah.
Okay, I empower students. Okay. Okay. In the sense that we deal with digital natives, that we have at least to put their needs and interests at the center of the learning experience. That's what I meant by empowerment too. So I don't know if you agree or not. Yeah, so, but that's true, yeah. Okay, how to continue, Tuire?
How to continue?
We're wrapping up, Dr. Muna, that's it. Don't worry. Okay. Oh, actually, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you were to choose between going back to a book or books and or continue with education, with technology, which one would you choose?
Well, books are important, they still are. But for example, the newest research and information is nowadays most often online, for example. And to have the modality in learning, to be able to learn in various ways through audio and to get it visualized more, etc. So that gives more options for effective learning experiences. So I would like to continue from that. Well, what would you like to recommend?
Actually, I'd recommend, since we are here, most of us are educators, a departure from that teacher-centered approach towards the integration of ICT in the classroom, with more emphasis on blended learning as an alternative method for a more personalized learning. That's it. Thank you.
Another interesting piece of research was delivered to us by the 21st century teachers, as they call themselves. They are, of course. Of course. And the good part of it is that you mentioned that the students are the center of this exercise, the teaching and learning exercise. Now, to hear the voice of students, we're happy to have a student from Bethlehem University, Mu'tasim Afana, from our physiotherapy department. What? I'm sorry. Okay, Mu'tasim. يعني we didn't go far in the same. Okay, occupational therapy department.
Athlete? Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to stand here in order to share with you my experience for using iPad. So my name is Mu'tasim Afani, 20 years old. I'm studying occupational therapy in Bethlehem University. So before I talking about iPad and my experience of using iPad, I would like to introduce for you years of struggling with adaptive equipment, multiple adaptive equipment using. So I was born as a normal child in 1995 and between very supportive family, and I raised in Jerusalem. But before talking, okay, and when I became in the 8th grade, I became unable to see what my teachers in the school writing in the board. So So after a long trip with tests and blood and genetic tests, the medical team diagnosed me with Stargardt disease. Stargardt disease, which means the death of light receptor cells, photoreceptor cells, which means that the central vision of the eye will be impaired. So as a person have a visual problem, I became facing difficulties in reading and writing and typing and seeing faces from distance more than 1 meter. So as any person who have disability, the rehabilitation team, they taught me how to use multiple adaptive equipment, include telescopes and magnifiers, CCTV, Come Closer TV, and Max TV, and other adaptive equipments. The challenge was suffering from the stigma and how I will use it in my school. Okay, so this year was the hardest year in my life because it changed my life maybe to the better. We can say that. Okay. And in order to be more having more level of independence, the maximum level possible of independence in my daily activities, especially in my school. So despite of these all happiest moments and things and the stigma of my classmates, I got the highest grade in my school in Tajik exams for a 94, and I decided to okay, this is the adaptive equipment that I was using. I forget them. Okay, I decided to study occupational therapy in Bethlehem University in order to help all people who have disability to be more independent in their daily living activities and to overcome all their difficulties. When I entered the university, the challenges restarted again. The social, because we have now, I have introduced myself to new environment, social, culture, and physical environment, and with challenges. So this was affecting on my educational performance, and it was more lower than what I can do. So to overcome all of these problems and these challenges, I started using iPad since after my first year. After my first year, okay, and my life became to start to change and get better, and also the level of stigma that I suffer from before become more lower and more normal. This is the all adaptive equipment that I use in the university. Here, that I was print all things, my PowerPoint, my lectures, and having many books and things. This is one sample. Okay, and having to magnify all my books on A3 pages, and using also magnifier. So by starting using the iPad, those things become more easier. My books, that I can download all the books on the iPad. Also, I became able to magnify them with good contrast and light and reading them. And also I can take notes and pictures, things in my lectures and my clinical training and my sessions. So also I can magnify all of these things by using the lenses and many things on the iPad accessibilities. I can do presentation like what I can do now with my iPad. Also video clips and things, and also in the lectures and my sessions in the training. Also recording voice, video or pictures in both sessions and lectures. Also I use the scanner, and this is in the clinical training, using the iPad to fill assessment and documentations. Using the iPad in order to scan all things that are not available in the internet and have not to make them to e-copy. So it was wonderful something to use it as scanner. And also I was using the iPad in order to make the far more near. So I can, for example, I can make Zoom from my iPad and see what my teacher present or speaking. Also by coordination with my teachers and about the lectures, that I can get the material from the e-class before the lecture, which I mean, and to carry up with my teachers and highlight and go add text and magnifier, and to be more have a higher performance. And the iPad can read for me also, so I can read he can read for me the articles and the books and text, all of these things. Everything with using the iPad become more clear, more easy, more better, and the quality of independence become more higher. To sum up, since 2 years I was using the iPad, and which helped me to overcome all of these problems, and it introduced me to new applications and accessibilities, also to stay more organized, more focused, and can learn and catch up with my students, my colleagues, and find a new way to which this way will fit with my capabilities and disabilities. And I recommend that if we can continue using iPad in Bethlehem University and to introduce it to other universities in Palestine and worldwide, and especially with people with disabilities. This sample from some I recommend applications. Okay. In one day, I will graduate from Bethlehem University as occupational therapist. As the previous graduated from Bethlehem University, my most supportive person in my life, my mother, which she here. Thank you for coming, and I will also continue my road to developing and introducing iPad using for all people with disability worldwide. Thank you for listening. Any questions? So this is all the adaptive equipment that I was using. Now I know I don't use it. Maybe you can see that I'm not putting the iPad on the table because I'm now use it. And the adaptive equipment, maybe if you can, we can throw it. No, really the cost is very expensive. Maybe the telescope there, it's 10,000 shekel, and this is 3,000 shekel. So I think that is for all of them, more cheaper. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Martasim. Very impressive, and you showed us when there is a will, there is a way. And congratulations to you and to your mother, and to everybody. Now, if you'd like to know more about the different aspects and the different work that you heard about this morning, I advise you to join the workshops.
Should I sit here? No. Okay. Just a couple of minutes. Minute or two.
Do you have pen down? Any pain? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, go backwards. Any pain?
Oh, it hurts.
Worse?
Worse.
Okay. Now go this way. Any pain?
Ouch.
What about this way? This side is worse?
Yeah.
What about this side? Do you
It's
prefer,
okay.
Do you prefer to have your head up?
Yeah.
Head up? You're red. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this is enough. And now it's your turn to explain what you did and why you did. So you can video that.
Okay, we had a patient that he said that he has neck pain, so we had to assess his range of motion to figure out which movement creates the most pain. So he said his pain is worse with extension, which is a movement of the head backwards. And I had to feel vertebra, so on my assessment, he had more pain on the left side compared to the right side, and that means that's probably he's more stiff on that side. So I needed to mobilize it. It was just, a little bit of a quick assessment.
Visual stories can help me make sense of the world and the information presented to me. It's not about replacing stories with analog stories. I'm not just transforming the text words into a story. I'm transforming the stories to become more understood or accessible.
Okay. I'm going to take pictures of Tala Hudson.
What's your title? Good. Now you can add other pictures. You can add another picture. I've heard what you said. You add another picture. Why isn't it adding? And then you can either insert a photo, an icon, or text. You can even add text, and then you can record.
Fine, this is what you said. From here, and when did it come out? Maybe I took my...
You get a start. If you tap on that, no, this one. If you tap here, good, and then yes. Would you like to tell a story about?
Teaching center there. Now, we need to show pictures.
It's your iPad, right? To tap on a few things, I took a picture of you, and it automatically came here, and I recorded some voice over here.
For example, this gentleman is from Brazil, and he added here some pictures and ideas what his identity. They had this booklet, and then they explained about their own identity. And with photos and everything, it was very nice to follow for the fellow students and to, as a teacher.
And you don't always have to make them make a PowerPoint presentation.
Exactly. I think this one is very simple to start with if you want to start with iPads.
Yeah, that's the simplest of all.
You need to have the...